This is becoming a habit. Okay, so here we go. Today we're going to talk about, and as some of you may know, I ink traditionally, which means over the original pencils. So I'm inking right over the pencils, directly over the original board. And what that means, rather than blue line or digital. So traditional inks, you go right over the original pencils. And the step that most of us traditional inkers do not love, we don't love it, but it's necessary. The cleanup part, the erasing. And I do get a lot of questions about how to keep the inks from fading when you erase during the erasing process. The answer is you can't. I've tried all kinds of different inks and different erasers. You can do your best to keep the fading to a minimum, which is the best that you can do. And then after you erase, you'll probably still have to do some touch-ups, especially if you're using brush and a lot of, when you fill in blacks, large black areas, maybe you can avoid erasing those areas so that won't fade. But if you are using brush for fine lines or smaller details, you'll get fading all over. So no matter what eraser you use, you're going to get a little bit of fading from the inks. And the best, and I've mentioned before, the best ink for me, and it's the same one I've used for a long time. It resists the fading a lot more, so it doesn't get like as much of that washed out look. I didn't grab it. Let me grab it real quick. Okay, I'm back. So I have all the erasers, but I don't have the ink. So this is the ink that I use. So it's the Ultra Draw. That, to me, I've tested a whole bunch, like dozens of different types of inks. So this, for me, works best, or stands up to erasing the best. And I find that it's great for like for brush and nib, so either one. What I do is I just pour a little bit into a smaller container, like a little tub. Just put it into a little container. And if it sits around for a while, it does evaporate a bit, so it gets a little thick. And all I do is, when you're not getting that good of a flow, what I do is just add little drops of water to it. That's really all that I do. I don't do anything crazy or magic. So that's the inking part, or that's the ink part of how to sort of like reduce the fading after the erasing process. So erasing, which is where we're at. So today's video is just discussing a few erasers that I've used and that I've some of my favorites that I found to be some of the best for this process. The first, we'll go through a few of them. So the kneaded eraser, which a lot of people use, a lot of inkers use too, because it doesn't lift as much of the ink. So it's a little more gentle on the inks. And while you're cleaning up all the lead that's like, smudged, or, it gets pretty messy under there. So you can use this, but this is great because one, no eraser shavings, and it's gentle. The only problem I found is that it does a great job with like the softer lead, or if the penciler is like more heavy-handed, where the lead is a little more like carved into the paper. you're going to need something a bit stronger than this. So this is great for like the light work, or if you want to use this to erase around like, you know, face or small details, or you want very little lift your ink. This is great. So you can use this in combination with like another eraser. So that's also good. Kneaded eraser. You need it. Okay. And another eraser that I used for quite a while, and which is, I think is pronounced Karandashi. Yep. Sorry, it's a little blurred, but there it is. It's kind of like semi-clear. This is great because it does not leave a whole lot of, it's minimal eraser shavings. So you have a wonderful eraser, a solid eraser, and it is, I kind of like the softer, you know, flexy, because it's gentler on your hand if you're erasing a whole page, or if you're like me, who has a bad habit of stacking up pages before you clean up. So if you're going through several pages, a softer eraser would be a little more gentle on the hand. So this is great too. It is very gentle on the ink, so it's not going to lift as much. You're not going to lose a lot of, you know, smaller details. It has very minimal eraser shavings. There's some, not like a ton, but there's still some eraser shavings. The problem that I found with this is that depending on what ink you have and how long you've given your page to dry, or sometimes you get like the little bit of eraser shaving that's on there that is coated in ink or has a lot of ink, you know, in it. It can streak. So that's what I did not like about it. It doesn't do it that often, but if you get like ink streak across like really detailed stuff like face or cross hatching or a lot of line work, to clean that up is a pain in the butt. So to me, it's fine, but I didn't love like the random streak here and there. It's such a bummer. It's like, ugh. So you're doing great, you erase, you're cleaning up. It just makes more work for you to clean up, especially in like a large detail area. So this is good. A lot of inkers still like it, or you can be a penciler and like erasers too. So this is good for pencilers too. So if you don't have ink and you're just using it for, you know, just to erase your pencils, fine, no problem. But it just streaks it, you know, it'll pick up like the little eraser dust and streak it. The ink will streak. So good. Be careful. This I used for a while, and I think the reason I stopped using it was I was having a hard time finding it, and there, I believe it's Pentel. I believe that they have like a more firm version and a softer version. Of course, you know, like the softer version again, you know, a lot friendlier on the hand to use to erase, and gentle on your ink, so you're not going to lift your details. Still a good eraser. I still have some and I still use it here and there. The small one is great to go into tiny areas. So if you use your kneaded eraser, and this is gentle on your hand too, so you just knead it and you either dab it or just roll it, or, you know, just use it like normal erasers. You can start with this to clean up, and then you can follow up with something smaller in the little detail areas where you might need something stronger than the kneaded eraser. So you can use the combo, use whatever you want. So that, like I said, also good. But I don't know if they have a ton of these available, or if it's easy or hard to find. I haven't bought any in a long time, but also very good. Just as good, or almost as good as my Faber-Castell. And I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing all these names right, but you get the picture and the visuals. Ta-da! So this is the eraser that I've been using for a few years now, for a while. I picked this one up because I was having a hard time finding these. Maybe it was just timing, and they might still have a ton of these around. But I buy these in bulk. So this is what I use. You will have eraser shavings. It's not going to lift a lot of your ink. It will still lift. You can't avoid it. I haven't been able to figure out how to avoid it. So there are a lot of you guys who ask how as pros avoid lifting the ink. We're just like you. We just have to figure out ways around it, trying to find the best tool. So this is why I wanted to share. If it'll save you a couple bucks of experimenting with, because there's so many things available. But if you want, give this a try. It is softer, which, like I said, I prefer because it's, gentle on your hand. If you're, sometimes my hand gets more tired from erasing than it does from inking. So I just realized I'm like, in your face, sorry. So this is great for if you have a ton of cleanup to do and you're, you can hold these guys pretty tight, and then after a while, like my thumb gets tired. So my thumb gets tired. Okay, my hand gets tired more so than when I'm inking. So this is pretty friendly. It's very soft. It has eraser shavings. Can't avoid that either. It is I'm not sure how much any of these I buy them in bulk and I haven't bought them in a while. Reasonable. It'll last you for quite a while. So for cleaning up all your lead after you're done inking, you can use this. Again, you can also use it with your kneaded eraser. Da-da-da. For little tiny details, you don't want to lift the ink if you're brushing in a whole bunch of little nice fine lines, and you can do the big general cleanup entire page with this, and then come in with your little tiny details and go into the areas that might need a little bit more elbow grease to really work out all that lead for scanning. So traditional inks will require cleanup. I think this is why some of inkers prefer blue line, is that you can skip this process, which, like I said, is not the most fun you're going to have inking, but it is kind of fun because it's kind of like the reveal part. You can see more like the sharp inks once your page is clean up. Let's see. Oh yeah. So for blue lines, I think some people prefer it because you skip this part, and you also get to keep all the inks. So you don't have to split the inks with the penciler. You get to keep all the inks. But then people have feelings on inks over blue line as opposed to inks over original pencils. So that's in the original art market world, which I know very little of. So these are, like I said, there are tons available. There are tons of options, but these are ones that I like and I've used more often. Dun, dun, dun. I don't know how to hold them all at once. So you can give these a try, see what you think. You can't avoid lifting inks, but you can try to do minimal damage, and even after that you might still have to, most likely I always have to go back and still do touch-ups, yeah, so I hope that helps you guys, and I do appreciate all the comments, and you guys are coming up with suggestions, and there are some questions about me teaching. I don't know if I'm a very good teacher. I just like sharing. So if I can if there's information that I can share that might save you time or money, then I'm happy to do it. And again, what I do and what I use, it's not the only ways, not the only supplies that you should use. Experiment, play. I'm sure you guys probably know a whole bunch of other stuff that I don't, or have experimented, or have some tools that you absolutely love that I've never have even tried. So these are just my go-tos and my habits, and if any of this helps, I'm really happy that that you can use the information. I don't teach professionally. This is my way of just sharing. So if you have other ideas or suggestions, and which, like I said, you guys do, thanks for commenting, and I'll try to do these videos to kind of reply or share, or do demos. But I hope you liked today's video of the caveman delete button, the eraser. Good luck, give it a try. See you next time.